Hey guys, welcome back to, I think maybe my only second video this year. I did a video in January that I never followed up on. So here we are, 3 months later. So I just thought I'd do a quick, low-key, life-changing update for you guys. I really struggle with following things through, hence the multiple videos where I've started something and said I would upload once a week, blah, blah, blah. And same with my TikToks, and well, I just don't do it. And that is because I have ADHD. I think I mentioned it once on this channel, but it has always been suspected. But today I got diagnosed. I officially can say I have ADHD, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. So I had my appointment today for my assessment. I booked in with them in August last year, and this morning, today is April the 22nd. Yeah, April 22nd. And yeah, so that's how long I had to wait once I had booked in. And the appointment took about 40 minutes. It was an hour-long booking, but the actual appointment took 40 minutes. And the sense of relief when he just confirmed that everything that I've been thinking of, everything I've been researching for the past 3 years, was just honestly a big weight off my shoulder, just to know there's a reason why I struggle so much day to day and why I'm so tired day to day to do basic things like keep my house clean, do my job, socialize. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about what I've been doing for the past 2-ish years leading up to this assessment, and then also a bit about what the actual assessment entailed, what he asked, and I guess the plan moving forward. Also, this lighting is crazy. My eyes look nuts. I'm sitting in front of a window, and I don't know. Also, the plant doesn't live here. I just wanted to put it there because otherwise it's just an empty table. So, the past okay, let's rewind. I started suspecting I had ADHD in 2021. My first year of Bible college, it kind of just, things were popping up in social media, and then I was looking into it in forums like Reddit and YouTube and things like that, and just having so many of those moments of, I do that, or I struggle with that. Is that not normal? So many, is that not normal question came up in my mind, just seeing all these different things like jumping hobby to hobby, things like the amount of career and job changes, things like struggling to stick to a routine for hygiene and keeping a clean house. And there's obviously so many factors into that, but I have no dependents. I am a single female who lives by herself. I have been flatting prior to this year, but yeah, there are no other factors that would impact and make my life so hard to maintain. That I just didn't even know I struggled. Procrastination was a really big one. Something I've always struggled with my whole life is leaving things to the last minute and being able to hand that in and do okay. And then once I realized, I think it was in high school, I'd realized I actually do well under that pressure of leaving things to the last minute and producing a result. Then I stopped feeling bad about leaving assignments and stuff to the last minute. But yeah, you can't do that with work in the working world. And I don't have assignments and things to hand in, so it's, yeah, even things that I enjoy doing, like going for a walk to the beach, or I will be scrolling on TikTok and see some random craft thing of crochet and be like, oh, I want to do that, but I would still procrastinate doing it, still leave it and push it out for no reason other than, well, two reasons. I couldn't bring myself to physically move to do that thing, or I didn't want to fail or make a mistake or it to come out bad, get a bad result that I wouldn't try. So like crocheting, for example, I didn't want to produce a bad product, so therefore I wouldn't try. Yeah, so I've spent the past 2.5 years, 2021, that's three and a half years, researching ADHD in females, inattentive ADHD, hyperactive, just researching all the things like diagnosis, blah, 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 and figuring out, and slowly, which has been a very slow journey of unmasking and just reducing, I guess, looking at what my behaviors are and whether it is compensating or a coping mechanism to something else, and just slowly exposing more of my natural tendencies and behaviors, things like interrupting people, things like fidgeting and sitting still. I have a little stress ball thing, choose an avocado, just helps. I just sit there and squeeze it. Helps me fidget silently. Things like my emotional reactions to things. It's been a very emotional couple of years. Yeah, just identifying what I struggle with and making note of that, so that I could go into the assessment and be like, this is why I have ADHD. So that is what I've been doing the past 3 years. I've kept it not under wraps. I've been pretty open with quite a few people about this journey, about the struggles. I've been pretty open at work because they need to know. And in fact, I'm very fortunate enough that work actually paid for my assessment. Had to go through the private route because the public route, my GP just effectively said there's no chance that you'll even get in. The wait list is so long, so he said go privately. And the difference between that is funding, government funding, paying for the assessment, and public route in New Zealand prioritises children, which is fair enough. But yeah, going private is not free. So my initial assessment was $520, and I actually had saved up for that, knowing it was coming up. But wow, it got really dark outside. Dang, that's a dark cloud. And was talking to a workmate about it, and she said, why don't you ask if work will pay? And they did, no questions asked. That was really cool. So very fortunate, because I know there are a few workplaces who don't even acknowledge that ADHD is a problem. I've heard of many stories of people struggling. So the assessment itself, it was on video call, via a link that they'd sent, and he pretty much just said, hi, nice to meet you. I see you have been referred by Dr. blah 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 for ADHD. Or he said the full name, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I was actually really impressed that he said that so quickly, because it is a mouthful. And then he said, do you want to explain what you are struggling with that makes you think you have ADHD? And so I started rambling. I went through my list. I'll show you guys, I'll put my list up here, of just everything that I had noted down today. this morning before my assessment, because while I had noted down and spent the past 2 years figuring out why I think I've got ADHD, I never actually took the time to put it down on paper. It's just all been in here. And this, we all know, doesn't work too well with ADHD. We forget things. So this morning I decided to make a list. So I just started rambling through the list, and then he asked me what I do for work. Do these things impact my work life? And then he gave an explanation of what ADHD is neurologically and how that presents itself in life. But it was interesting, he didn't go into specific external symptoms like messy room, fidgeting, blah blah blah. He went more like, kind of explain that the processes and the effectively means the brain is always working in a fight or flight mode, and that I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I just really like that he explained more mentally how there's always a feeling of dysfunction. There's always a feeling of disappointment and self-criticism, because those with ADHD know that they're underperforming. Underperforming is the word that he used, comparative to neurotypicals. And I cried when he was explaining it, because I'd never really even thought about the fact that I always felt like I was underperforming, but I have always felt like I was underperforming. I always felt like I had to try really hard just to do okay. So yeah, he asked me what I thought of that, obviously seeing me cry, and I said, you have just described my whole life. He asked me if anything had shown up in my childhood, because it's a neurological disorder, so you're born with it, you don't develop it later in life. And I said the only thing that I remembered was constantly having a messy room. And then he asked me nearest pharmacy to me, and I said blah 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 down the road, and he went, cool, it'll be ready this afternoon. And just like that, I was like, oh, so diagnosed, you're ready to go? He's like, yep. So I start medication tomorrow. Just like that, like bam bam bam. It's kind of crazy because I spent so long building up. I spent 3 years building up to this moment, and then it just all of a sudden is here, and all of a sudden I am diagnosed, and all of a sudden my life will change. It won't be overnight, obviously, but yeah, I'm still a little bit in disbelief. I'm very excited because I'm just excited to be able to finish things, to start a project and finish a project, to start a challenge and finish a challenge, to maintain a hygiene routine, to maintain a livable space. And obviously medication is not the miracle drug. It's not gonna make me a completely different person, but holy heck, I'm expecting it to help so much. And he said effectively the way medication works is it gives enough stimulation that I don't have to look for external stimulation, so that in those tasks that are boring, that I don't want to do and uninteresting, I will have the dopamine to supply the motivation to get those done, so that I don't have to try and make them interesting myself. And by allowing myself to have the motivation to get the boring things done, I can focus on other things that aid my life, that make life more fun. So that's me with ADHD. The plan from here is to spend the next year just observing how my life is going to change. I'll be going through how I'm feeling on the medication. I think my biggest, the thing I'm going to track most consistently is my messy room. I'm taking a photo of that every day to see if that changes. And yeah, just lots of talks. I want this channel to now be how I'm able to live life through the lens of ADHD, having ADHD, because it's something that acts as a lens. It's not like ADHD is in this aspect of my life, but it's not here, it's across. So it's like living with a permanent lens, and what that looks like for health and fitness, what that looks like for housekeeping, what that looks like for my relationship with God. So yeah, that's what I want this channel to be. Hopefully we can stick to it now. Hopefully more videos, not one every 3-6 months. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm low-key expecting a little bit of emotions over the next little while. Just, yeah, it's interesting. I'm not frustrated. I've heard of quite a few people feeling frustrated that it wasn't picked up on earlier, but I know for myself, I didn't even suspect that I had ADHD. It would have never entered my mind. If my ex hadn't told me 6 years ago that he suspects I've got ADHD, and 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and then if people hadn't been vocal on TikTok and social media and YouTube, and I know ADHD is, you know, there's this connotation that ADHD is becoming trendy, but it's just awareness. There's more awareness on what it looks like in people, and those who have ADHD and are discovering that they've got ADHD or might have ADHD or have tendencies, that awareness being so vocal on social media is life-changing. It really is. So I'm very grateful, and I don't have any issues about not being diagnosed as a child. It is what it is. It's happened. We're moving on. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Just wanted to jump on here and let you know, and yeah, give a brief about the direction this channel is going in, and I hope you enjoy the videos coming up. Yeah, would love to build community, especially people in New Zealand. If anyone's in New Zealand and going through this and feels they want to get assessed or ask questions about my own journey, obviously I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but I'm happy to help. Yeah, and until then, I'll see you in the next video, which will hopefully be soon. Bye.